Have you ever wondered what it would actually be like to live in a different time? Not just the big historical events, but a normal, everyday life. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're stepping back to 1798 to live a single day from sunrise to sunset in post-revolutionary America. And our guide? A 13-year-old girl named Sarah Cutter. Her world was so different from ours, and it all boils down to one crucial fact. And this right here is the key to understanding everything. For Sarah, 13 wasn't about being a teenager. It was the moment she crossed the line into adulthood. The responsibilities, the expectations, they all just landed on our shoulders basically overnight. So let's officially meet her. This is Sarah Cutter. She's our guide for this journey, a real 13-year-old girl living in the small town of Woodbridge, New Jersey in the fall of 1798. Now, to really get a feel for this, you have to remember just how young everything was. The United States was only 22 years old. It was still this brand new experiment trying to figure out what it was going to be, and Sarah's life is unfolding right in the heart of it all. And her world? Well, it was anything but quiet. I mean, just look at this household. It was packed. With her parents and 7 siblings all living under one roof, life was a constant buzz of activity. So many people to feed, clothe, and take care of. So what did a day in her life actually look like? Well, for Sarah, it kicked off long before the sun even thought about rising. The moment her feet hit the cold wooden floor, the work began. We're going to break down her day into 4 main parts. We'll start with the chores at dawn, then her school lessons, followed by the serious work of the afternoon, and we'll end the day with a bit of fun at a community party. Okay, just picture this. You wake up in an unheated room. It's so cold you can see your breath. Your first job isn't to check your phone. It's to go outside and haul heavy wooden buckets of water from a well. That's just to get breakfast started. Then it's frying up some salt pork over an open fire and scrubbing these heavy cast iron pots with sand because, no soap. And this was all just the warm-up. Now, after all that hard work, Sarah was actually one of the lucky ones. She got to have a few hours of schooling. Her father believed his daughters should know how to read and write, which was definitely not a guarantee for girls back then. So she'd walk over to a neighbor's house, which basically turned into a little pop-up classroom for the local kids. And what's so telling is how education was already setting up different paths for boys and girls. You can see it right here. Sure, everybody learned the basics, reading and writing, but then the road splits. The boys, they're learning advanced math for business and trade. And the girls, they're mastering needlework and something called proper deportment, basically all the skills they'd need to run a household someday. As soon as school let out, Sarah's real education for the day began. Her entire afternoon was all about learning and doing the thousands of skilled tasks it took to keep a family running. And we're not just talking about helping out around the house. This was called domestic production, and it was the economic engine of the family. They had to make pretty much everything they needed to survive. If this work didn't get done, the family literally might not make it through the winter. It was that serious. So a typical afternoon was just this incredible mix of skilled labor. One moment, Sarah could be at the spinning wheel, turning raw wool into yarn. The next, she's peeling what feels like a mountain of apples to make preserves. Then it's on to mending clothes because you had to make everything last, and maybe she'd finish with the hot, smelly job of dipping candles over and over again, just so they'd have light. But hold on, it would be a huge mistake to think life was just one long, hard work day. Sarah's day also had these incredible moments of joy and connection. And these weren't just throwaway fun times. They were actually a really important part of how their society worked. See, fun wasn't something you bought, it was something you made. Kids played tag and jumped rope, but notice how social everything is. In the evenings, families would gather around and they'd hear stories about the revolution from the people who were actually there. Or they'd just sing together. This is how you built community, how you passed down your culture. And on this specific day in our story, there was something extra special to look forward to. The neighbors were throwing a party that was disguised as a massive chore, of course. A husking bee is the perfect example of 18th century social life. You get the entire community together in a barn to knock out a huge, boring job really fast. But while everyone's hands are busy husking corn, there's fiddle music playing, people are telling jokes, and everyone's singing. It was this amazing blend of work and fun, where being productive and being social were the exact same thing. And get this, there was this fun little rule that added a bit of romance to the whole thing. If a boy happened to find a rare red ear of corn while he was husking, he got to kiss any girl he wanted. You can just imagine the blushing and laughing that caused among teenagers like Sarah. Okay, so we followed Sarah through her entire day. But how does this one pretty ordinary day connect to the bigger American story? Well, her life was basically a perfect snapshot of what it was like to live in this brand new country. Think about it, 13. That's Sarah's age. She's right on that edge of adulthood, learning all the rules and skills that are going to shape the rest of her life. Now think about this number, 22. That was the age of her country. It was also incredibly young, still finding its footing, figuring out the customs and habits that would define its future. Both the girl and her nation were filled with potential, and both were facing a totally uncertain road ahead. So, you see, while famous men were off in big cities writing laws and debating politics, the real foundation of America was being built in kitchens and barns by ordinary people like the Cutters. Their daily work, those community parties, their simple beliefs, that was the stuff that was actually weaving the fabric of a new American culture, one day at a time. And at the end of it all, as Sarah walked home under the stars, totally exhausted from all the work and dancing, she probably wasn't thinking about building a new nation. She was just a 13-year-old girl, feeling happy and full after a really good day. She knew tomorrow was going to be packed with chores, but tonight, she could fall asleep with the sound of music and laughter still in her ears. And all of this leaves us with one last question to think about. Sarah's world required these essential hands-on skills, spinning thread, preserving food, mending clothes, that, for the most part, we've completely lost. So it makes you wonder, what vital knowledge from 1798 have we traded away? And what, if anything, have we truly gained in its place?